taking. I thought we were getting them loaded up. Hello, Kiss. To go for the ride, but my dad is eating, so I'm out here and getting set up. I'm not the one that's taking you, baby. Hoot's following me. He saw me get my stuff on. He thinks I'm the one that's taking him. You guys just got a beautiful shot up my nose. Okay, here we go. So welcome. Thank you guys for, I got coffee all over me. Oh man, hang on. I guess when I was holding my coffee mug and moving around, I was getting coffee everywhere. I see you, bud. Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you for, hanging in there and waiting on me to get going. I'm not for sure. I'll have to pause momentarily because I do want to make sure that Bruiser is able to load up and everything. So, oh my goodness, I got coffee everywhere. It's probably in my hair now too. Oh well. So, nope, that's going to be too much. Welcome everyone. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for receiving. Thank you for supporting my extra wait time there. Thank you. So I'm not even really sure everything that's going to come through today. I do know that Anubis, Isis, and Ra are very much present. Hello, Miss Becca. And so I know that whatever comes through is going to be coming through in conjunction with them. I'm not sitting in the light so much, but I was feeling, that's why I was looking to see, do I need to go sit in the light? Yes. So I'm going to transition. The sun's not out super bright today, but it's out a little bit. So being asked to incorporate that. So welcome. So for you guys that joined yesterday, you guys that are in my group space, that super powerful transmission that we had, I do feel that everything that's coming through today in this public transmission is to support that. There is, I'm hearing there is a need for souls to receive the truth of higher purpose, and that's going to look different for everyone. So we'll get into that in just a minute. Okay. All right, you guys, let me go grab my cushion and then be ready to rock and roll. All right. There we go. So, good morning, Miss Becca. I know, of course, that this has been a big topic. What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? And I think that there is a desire to attach to a title instead of allowing yourself to receive your purpose from a place of vibration. And so the message they are bringing forward is to support that your purpose is served through your sovereignty. So if your vibration is not a vibration that is in service, then you're not fulfilling your highest path of purpose. So this does not mean that your path is not important. It does not mean that everything that you are doing and everything that you are experiencing isn't important. It all is. But the biggest message that keeps coming forward, you guys, and I know you're probably tired of hearing it, but it's being reiterated, is that there is no longer a need to learn lessons. This whole, it's a very interesting mind game when we say, well, this is part of the process, and I'm needing to learn something. But keep in heart that when you hear that word learn, your perception and your belief connected to what that word learn means makes all the difference. Because how everything unfolds through that word, which is unfolding through you, is dependent on your vibration. That's awesome, Becca. Thank you for sharing. And we've got 4 viewers, or at least that's what it shows me. I don't know how many we actually have. So your purpose is divine fulfillment through your highest frequency of sovereignty, and the lessons are meant to be learned through teaching, not through making the same choices again and again and again and again that keep you trapped in cycles of karma. Remember, that's another message that's been so heavily reiterated, is that those cycles of karma weren't really necessary, but once it began, it evolved and it continued to evolve into almost like a black hole, into a siphon of very manipulative energy exchange. And this was based within, you have so many souls on this path that came here, as a star seed, and they have gotten trapped in these layers of karmic cycles. And a lot of times when we hear words, our definition of that word is what defines our perception of it. So a lot of times what you're receiving is not able to go deeper into your subconscious because you're not allowing it. It's not that it's not there, it's just you're not allowing it. Because when you hear words, you paint a whole picture with those words, right? That's what we do because we're magicians like that. But if you have yet to redefine what those words mean through you, by allowing yourself to incorporate a new belief that carries a higher frequency of sovereignty, then your ability to learn lessons is more greatly connected with the 3D karmic cycles than it is with the 5D ascension cycles. So if you are and this is something I repeat so many times, but it's so needed, because regardless of how many times many people hear it, they still don't take heed. It's very interesting. If you are not incorporating, if you're just sitting here and receiving this guidance and then you step away and you don't do anything different, or the capacity at which you do incorporate is very selective so that you can still remain comfortable in certain ways of believing, then you're only allowing yourself to remain in these cycles of suffering. So the invitation is always, in every now moment, not waiting for yourself to get triggered and not waiting for a lesson to appear, but in every now moment to choose to incorporate your thoughts. Instead of allowing your thoughts to control you, instead of allowing your feelings to control you. And yes, Becca, I'm going off of what's been coming through, but they're expanding on this. If you're not using your now moment from a place of sovereignty, then you are allowing yourself to be controlled. You're allowing yourself to be manipulated. You are allowing yourself to suffer because you are waiting. You're always waiting on something. You're waiting on something to happen to you. You're waiting on yourself. You're waiting for yourself to get into a situation of feeling bad before you address the shift in consciousness. You're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting. That's always living in a cycle of suffering when you're just waiting. Especially if you're waiting on that opportune moment to save yourself instead of doing it right now. When you choose to always incorporate new thoughts, to harness the magic of words as a creator, to redefine those words again and again and again through your belief of what they represent. And every now and moment you have thoughts running through your mind, and those thoughts are either coming from program beliefs or they're coming from a higher state of consciousness, but you're still being given words, right? And how you receive those words and how you respond to those words is wholly dependent on where you are embodying your frequency from. So that's why I've come across those on my path that have reached out for help, and they drop all of this knowing on me, and then they follow that up with, but I just can't seem to connect with my channel. I can't seem to make the connection to my purpose. They have all this information, but that information doesn't, it's just like pieces to a puzzle that they can't put together. And the reason why is because the frequency, it's not about knowing, the frequency from which you embody, the frequency from which you connect, the frequency from which you offer, that is what makes all the difference. When you're feeling like you just don't, that you're missing something, or you just don't have pieces to the puzzle, or you feel a disconnect, it's because you're so much in the mind and not so much in the heart. And this, you can incorporate many modalities to teach you how to do that, but none of them will actually show you how to make that connection. That is something that must be inherently practiced again and again and again, without someone telling you how, without someone telling you that you need to or have to, just because you choose to, because you want to experience from a place of not only sovereignty but higher vibration again and again and again. And I'm not even, I don't want to say higher vibration. It's not even just, it's not just higher vibration. It's a higher frequency of attunement. I'm very purposeful in why I said that, because the vibration that you emit is based on your attunement. You can think, a lot of people think they're high vibe, especially if they're connected to people that are highly attuned. And this is because they're picking up on that energy, but they have yet to incorporate within themselves that like, there are some that have incorporated, there are many that have incorporated, but then there are those that haven't, right? That just surround themselves with those types of people, but don't actually do the work, right? And then there are those that do the work and take in the activations, take in the codes, and still have a hard time connecting. Why is this? Because you're still waiting. You're still waiting. You're waiting for someone to save you. You're waiting for the codes to save you. You're waiting for instructions on how to save yourself, instead of, in every now moment, taking the action that is aligned to serving you in the purpose of saving yourself. Your purpose on this planet is more than just a title. It's so much more. It is your beliefs. It is the construct of your emotional body. It's the construct of your thoughts. It is the construct, of course, of your physical. And within the embodiment, you are bringing all that in that you are, within the emotional, within the mental, the soul. And then you project that for the world to see. And if there is any portion of you inside that self that is afraid that is afraid to be seen a certain way, that is afraid to be heard, that is afraid to express, that is afraid to be left behind, that is afraid that you don't understand, that is afraid that you won't fit in, then your creation of those fears is controlling you and controlling the outcome of your experience. Isis, Ra, Anubis, they are all very, very much speaking through me as I'm saying this. Your ability to find yourself first will then branch off into your purpose. But you must first choose to find yourself. Your purpose is only served through the ability to embody your sovereignty, first and foremost. And if you don't know what that word means, a lot of people are like, I don't even know what that means. I'm not going to tell you what it means because it means something different to everyone. But the overarching aspect of it is you are embodying oneness. You are embodying the masculine and feminine from a place that is free from separation. They are one. The masculine and feminine are in flow, in balance, in harmony. And everything that you do is working towards upholding that. Because if the choices that you make are imbalanced, then you're pulling from masculine or feminine a little bit more than the other. And you are allowing those choices to keep you in cycles of imbalance. When you return into sovereignty, you are expressing from a place that does not need to be seen. It does not need to be heard. It just simply is. It is the divine union of self. And this is available. It's in every single one of us. But a lot of times we don't tap into it because we're so afraid of ... that we never reach our point of sovereignty because the fear catches you and pulls you back down. So you recognize that it exists for you, but then fear comes in and says, oh, no, we can't do that. We can't do that because that's going to mean that we can't be seen a certain way. And what if we're not heard a certain way? Or what if people think this way about us? Or what if people think we're crazy? Or what if we don't have a partner? Or what if our parents don't accept us? And then guess what? Those dissonant thoughts control you. And you end up following one of those voices, one of those trains, one of those thought forms into a cycle of suffering, into a lower vibrational experience. You never quite reach your sovereignty. Sovereignty is free. It is free. That's why it is access through the heart. That's where your wing space begins. So you are not going to be able to attain sovereignty if you do not continuously choose it. When you choose to access yourself in sovereignty, then that is a choice that you uphold. Anything else that is not aligned is let go. And one of the messages that came through yesterday, a very beautiful message of remembrance, activation from Mother Gaia, Sister Terra, Dragon Mother, Mother of Dragons, however you like to say it, as they spoke an activation that was embraced with acceptance, and it was embraced in so much sovereignty, but it was embraced in this feeling of remembering the self from a place of acceptance, where that little inner child is not speaking just to speak, but is speaking with purpose. 1 second, you guys. Hang on just a second. Hey, you guys, can you guys give me 1 second, please? I need to pause this for just one moment. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Thank you, everyone that chose to hang in. Go over there and sit down, baby. So today, I can tell you right now, the energy that's been present and moving through has been, I feel, no, I feel, I feel a collective reverb, if that makes sense. The work that we did in creation of the timeline incorporated that, and then the follow-up with moving into the central cavern, the central heart of Terra, communicating with Gaia and Terra and the Mother of Dragons in such a way. There is this, yeah, I'm hearing there is a major wave, and it's just like if you were watching waves crash up on shore. There's all this density, wounding, availability to see these lower choice points, and they're crashing up in front of us, right? They're right in front of our face. And it was interesting because I had a dream last night in the astral, and I don't remember a lot of the astral because I've been doing so much work in my and within the solar induction, within the solar codes, which is different than the sun, by the way. It's solar. It's central sun work. And the actor Dennis Quaid was in my dream, which was which was very intriguing because I don't normally have actors or anything like that show up, but I knew it to be a message. I knew that everything that was taking place in that scenario, everything that was playing out, was showing me the collective wounding that is anchored in the timelines of this familial dynamic, this wounding of the mother. And it came up, the reason why I'm saying this, it came up directly in my reality when I woke up this morning. I was shown Dennis Quaid as soon as I came downstairs this morning. Do you know what was on TV? A commercial with Dennis Quaid. Or not, yeah, Dennis Quaid, that's his name. So he was a spokesperson or whatever. And that was Universe saying, that was, actually, it was more than Universe. It was my higher self. It was me showing me that I was given an opportunity in my dream state, in the astral, to work through what took place this morning when I got up. When I got up, I actually reacted. I allowed myself to respond to the energies around me in a way that was not what I would normally do. And it's interesting because right before I stepped into that reaction, I had a pause. And it was like a big sign was right in front of me saying, is this what you want to do? Is this what you want to do? I was so agitated. And I don't normally, that's something that's very unfamiliar to me these days. But I was agitated, so I stepped into the agitation and I moved forward. That's what I chose. That's what I chose. It only lasted for a couple of minutes, maybe. And then I quickly, transitioned out of it. But it was because of my family, my environment, not because of, that's victimhood talking right there. The environment was the trigger. My response was my choice. And although I don't operate from victimhood mentality anymore, in that moment, I had an opportunity to step back into it for experience. And I very quickly was like, that's not what I want to do. And it's based in that mother wound. It's based in that sister wound. It's based in that dynamic of bloodlines, because that's where that energy was coming from. And I had an opportunity to choose, do I step back into the lower dimensional blood work, or the lower dimensional framework of the blood, the family dynamic, or do I step into the higher vibration of the cosmic dynamic, which is the true that is the true bloodline, if you will. The bloodlines that we have here on Earth, those are not our true bloodline inheritance. We choose these dynamics to incarnate into. A lot of times, especially if you're a starseed like myself, I chose my parents. My mom was not intended to have a child, and I came in because that was what was chosen. I said, this is the dynamic, this is the trauma, this is the karma that I need in order to come into this plane. As stated, we don't need karma, and we don't need, not this kind of karma, and we don't need trauma. But if you are going to step into a role of teacher, you must understand what you are expressing. You must live your truth. That is what a true shaman is. That is what a true mystic is. It is not a title. It is a rite of passage. Those of us that offer from a place of teaching are offering from a place of spoken, experienced truth. And I'm going to begin offering now they've been speaking through me. Isis, Ra, and Anubis have all been speaking through me, but I'm feeling them step forward even more so in expanding on what has already been spoken. As I was saying rites of passage, they moved forward like, yes, this is where we will enter. This is where we will come in. because this has been a big one. When I channeled Anubis in my group space, and I brought forth the message of a book that is being delivered through me. The reason why this message came through for the group space, and I posted it publicly without the name. I'm not going to share the name publicly. And the reason why is because many people will hear something like this and they think, "Oh, that sounds powerful. That sounds cool. Like that's resonant." But instead of delving deeper and seeing, well, why is it resonant? Because maybe you're meant to be offering from a place of teaching and you're not doing that. Maybe you're meant to be offering from a higher state of teaching with or in conjunction with a specific channeled set of frequencies that you're not doing yet, but you're moving into. So the resonant piece does not mean that you need to attach to exactly what is being presented. It means that you need to receive it and see what is in that message and how are you finding resonance within it. What is it in conjunction to? That's why Anubis was saying you need to ask them not to worry so much about the name of the book. It's presented there for purpose, but ask them to not focus on the book. Focus on the purpose that is served through the receivership of the activations, which is happening through channeling such as this. If you work with me in my group space or one-on-one, that's what that's in conjunction to. Of course, I offer activations in this space as well. But it's more specifically for that, because if you're working with me one-on-one, then you are receiving those specific codes from me in that agreement. Welcome, Greg. So, everything that was presented here and everything that I've sharing in some of my story, but also sharing what's happening. Like, I can tell you right now, energetically, there is a major set of timeline reclamation that's in process. And so if you're being presented with choices, if choices are showing up and you're feeling called, Becca, to go back to choices that are not aligned, there's a reason for this. That's why right now, when Anubis, Isis, and Ra step forward in just a moment, they're going to expand on that, but it's not going to be as not going to be stated as plainly as this, because the teachers speak in a way that resonates with the soul. It doesn't speak to the mind. It doesn't speak to the ego. It speaks to the soul. So that's why I dropped all this in here first, is so they're like, please provide the clarity and the breadcrumbs before we step forward fully. So everything that's been presented is breadcrumbs. A lot of times people will receive these messages and then they have things show up in their reality and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how I'm going to move through this. And you have breadcrumbs. You've been given insight. You've been given feedback. And the choice points that are coming up are showing you timelines that are being released. So if you allow those choice points, if you allow those thoughts, if you allow those feelings back in, if you allow yourself to be controlled by them, then you are allowing that timeline to stay alive through you, and you are not allowing it to be reclaimed. That's why the speaking into and the importance of changing the way that you think is a necessity. It's an absolute necessity, because you are connected to the timelines that you create based on what you believe, based on what you think. You can think a word. You can hear me say a word, but if you hold a belief to that word, and that belief, again, it defines. So when you manifest, you're manifesting based on your belief of words and how you create from the frequency that you embody, which then projects and paints the picture of your physical experience. So if you're wondering why things are not showing up in a way that you want them to, it's because internally you have not met yourself at the frequency, and you have not let go of the energy that is needing to be. You haven't released yourself from the timeline. You haven't released yourself from the old timeline to step into the new timeline. And that's why I always say it doesn't matter all that I bring forward. We can create all these golden timelines and we can connect to them. But if you're not releasing yourself from the frequencies that connect you, that anchor you, that ground you into the lower densities and lower dimensional aspects, then it doesn't matter. Even with the coding, even with the activations, because the activations only come online, they are only accessible in your highest frequency of sovereignty, and they're only accessible through you when you are embodying that sovereignty and upholding the frequency that is going to allow you to experience the codes. That's why many people, they receive all of these codes, all of this information, and then they say, well, I don't know what my purpose is. They say, I don't know what my purpose is. And they have all the information, but the experience is missing. There's a gap there. So the question comes, why am I not hearing? Why am I not receiving? Why am I not understanding? Because there is a portion of you that is still operating. And I still see this a lot for those on the journey. I still see this from a lot on the awakening journey, even from those that are doing work such as this. They're still operating from wounding. They're still operating from victimhood or perpetrator, that victimhood and perpetrator. So even when they receive the information and the guidance, it's framed in victim and perpetrator. They're always needing to be seen or make a point, or they're needing to let everyone know, like, this is everything that I know, and you need to see, you need to hear that I know all of this stuff, because you need to see how wonderful and great that I am. And that's a big one, because I've been there, man. I've been there. And it's when we are embodying sovereignty, all of that is just in our field. It's in our field. And people receive it before they receive us. Just like I receive you guys before you say a word, right? So your purpose is defined by the attunements and your embodiment of them. So your purpose has many levels, many layers. And it first starts with your ability to experience yourself through the purest human aspects of compassion, empathy. If you are not able to be compassionate, if you are not able to be empathetic, if you are not able to let go, seriously, you guys, letting go, that surrender, that's the foundation. If you cannot let go, so many of you are holding so tightly, even to past lives. You're holding so tightly to these beliefs, to these feelings that you want different, but you're so afraid to let go, so that you can experience different. So Anubis is stepping forward. Thank you for receiving. Thank you for receiving everything that was here. Thank you for receiving what I would say would be the intro. Thank you for receiving the message. That message was very activating for some, I'm feeling. And it's very present. I can tell you right now, collectively, there's an upheaval happening. And what I'm seeing is, it's very similar. It's what's been in motion. You're very welcome, Becca. And it was there for you, and it was there for, I feel there's a handful of others that needed that message as well. So the collective right now, there's some, we have a whole collective of peoples that is operating from fear. And then we have a collective of peoples that is operating from light. There are two different realms. And what I'm seeing is those that are operating from fear they're solidifying more in fear. They're solidifying more in the programming. They're solidifying more in judgment, shame, guilt, and separation. Because they're not choosing anything different, right? They're still stuck in the 3D. The 3D is it's so important to them that even if someone were to tell them that they could transition, they would not choose it, because this means that they must go through the hall of mirrors. They must go through the heart. Many are not ready for that. And this comes up with many of you on the journey. That's come up many times. When the transition into new earth is fully made, the question is, what about the souls? What about everyone else? There is a contract for each soul, and that soul will fulfill that contract. And the wave of energy right now, I'm feeling. That's why I was also guided to bring this public. There's an opportunity right now in this message for more souls to move into their awakening journey, to move through the birthing canal of awakening, so that they can begin their journey of releasing themselves from the life and death cycles. I am not saying that this is going to happen. I'm not saying that anyone listening to this, outside of those that are here to receive it with intention and purpose and sovereignty, are going to make that choice. But they are receiving the vibration, and they are receiving the opportunity. That is part of our purpose, is to at least share the message. If they choose to judge, then they choose to embody fear. If they choose to shame, then they choose to embody fear. Allow that to happen. Allow it. That is their choice. Because they too have an opportunity to choose light. And for most, the need to fit in and to not be seen as one that is doing something different, right? That's a part of their program. That's a part of their imprint. That's something that they have to work through. And that's a part of that wounding. So let us move into the receivership of what's here from Anubis. And I want to go ahead and build the foundation of light so that those who are receiving are going to be anchored into and solidified within this portal of light. Oh, I just looked at my clock and it's 12:21. Very cool. So just another reflection of stepping into and shifting our states of consciousness. And I'm going to invite everyone now to receive this from a choice of embodied sovereignty, to honor that you are receiving this for your highest good always, and for the highest good of all and the harm of none. So as we move into spoken light, as we move into the message, keep in heart, especially if those that are tuning into this are not used to receiving such messages, that these messages are activating. These messages could be triggering. And if you operate from a natural state of judgment, you might be drawn to judge. Although that is not something that is accepted in this space. If that is your choice, we allow it. Because that is you projecting your energy and you receiving your energy. So when you choose to pass judgment, if it is not accepted, then only you can receive it. Your subconscious only knows that you exist. So from a subconscious perspective, if you judge others, you only judge yourself. If you shame others, you only shame yourself. So let us open a portal of purity. And thank you to everyone joining, with the intention that regardless of your belief, You are receiving this for the highest good. Anubis is here to assist in the release from the life and death cycles. Ra and Isis are here as representatives of the solar, masculine, feminine. And these are purity code carriers, and they are activators of purity. And this all comes from God, my dear. So all of these energies are a part of creation. We are all a part of creation. If we say that we deny these ascended master teachers, then you might as well say you're denying yourself. Everything that is brought forth here is brought forth from source light. We honor those that choose to stay in the shadows and to only speak in judgment, because they feel that they do not have power, and therefore they must express power through a limited belief. Because in order for them to feel accepted, they must express some form of belief that they feel would be accepted. Source God creates all. Mother Source creates all. Mother Creatrix, Father Source is all, and we are all, but we are also no thing. We are embodying the thing for the purpose of expressing ourselves as Source. So, if you think that these ascended masters are expressed as a separation from God, then you are only seeing yourself as separate. You are seeing yourself as separate. It has nothing to do with what is spoken here. Inviting everyone now to step into the portal, and this is just a portal of purification, and honoring that those receiving are upholding the highest frequency of purity. It's very interesting. In every single one of these lives, there are always at least one or two that step forward, that pass shame and judgment. But what they do not realize is that they are just passing it on themselves. It is not understood by anything other than you. So just cleansing the energy, cleansing the field. And as I speak the words of Anubis, Ra, and Isis, recognize that you are being activated on a DNA cellular level. This is very purposeful right now, for as all of this is coming to the surface energetically, we need a major clearing, we need a major cleansing. Calling forth now your highest frequency of sovereignty and stepping into the light. Take a deep breath in. So working on balancing the collective energies and the individual frequencies within them. So if you feel me working in your field, it's okay. So calling Anubis forward. guided to ask each of you to place your hand on your heart and to tap. Let's loosen this energy up a little bit. And stating the intention that we are anchored into our highest timeline, and that all the energy that comes forward and that comes up is being released. It is being purged. Allow it to come to the surface and allow it to just move. It is energy. It is always in motion. The only way that it is going to remain connected to you is if you focus on it, believe it, and invite it back in. This is Anubis speaking. I am Anubis. I step forward now with a message of perseverance. We have been witnessing two different collectives of energy joining in this transmission. We have witnessed this channel, this guide, this teacher as the as the path has been laid. Many are choosing to step on this path. Many are choosing to discover what is on this path. And then there are those that choose to stand back and throw sticks and throw rocks and say, how dare you choose to build a path for others to walk upon. There are those that only know how to embody judgment, shame. We understand this, for we have walked among you. We know that this is a very a very magnetic, shall we say, invitation. And there is another invitation of your human self that is available, but you do not choose it, and we wonder why. But simultaneously, we must laugh. We laugh because of the seriousness with which this judgment, this rock throwing, this stick hurtling, you stand there on your mountain and you judge with such emphasis, with such sense of seriousness, only to be judging yourself. You stand upon your mountain, and below you are the piles of you. Piles like rocks that lay there heavy with shame. These are all you. You point at them with different names, with different faces, and you say, it is your fault. It is you that is different. It is you that is separate from God. But only you are viewing through a lens of separation. Only you are viewing through a lens of judgment, which is separate from God. Because God, although God is all, although Source is all, the perception of separation pulls you away from your oneness with Source. It pulls you away from your oneness with the collective that you are a part of. So those faces that you judge, those names that you shame, they are all you. Now there is an invitation to come down from the mountain, to stand in the valley, to embrace those selves and to say, I forgive you. I forgive you for believing that in order to be accepted, separation must ensue. That in order to be welcomed into the kingdom of God, I must choose to embody separation. You are the kingdom of God. You are the kingdom of God. You are the mountain. You are the valley. You are the stars. You are all that is. You are no thing that is. Your ability to embody the everything and the no thing is your ticket to heaven on earth. We are here to assist those that are ready to transition from the cycles of life and death to the cycles of rebirth. But this can only happen if you choose. This can only happen if you choose to step into all versions of self that you have shamed, all versions of self that you have judged. Only then can you be free. You are divinity, and this divinity is found in your human ability to be compassionate, sovereign, forgiving, joyful, loving, empathetic, accepting, to surrender what you think you know and allow the truth of what is. The new earth is here. There are many that have an opportunity to step into heaven on earth, but they are so busy chasing something outside of themselves. They are so busy chasing a thought. They are so busy chasing a dream. They are so busy chasing the form of money that they forget to come to the abundance within. They forget to come to all that is within the self and the whole complete unity of their divine, immaculate conception of source. If you stopped chasing and started being, much would unfold not only through you but before you. This is your ticket to the kingdom of heaven on earth. Many have labeled the kingdom of heaven as a place on a map. Many have labeled the kingdom of heaven as a storyline in a book. Many have labeled the kingdom of heaven as a belief that is constructed by a constitution. It is so much more. This is our invitation to you to step into the kingdom of heaven within your heart, to anchor that to the activation of light, and to embody your sovereignty, freeing yourself from the cycles of life and death. We are complete, and so it is. Very powerful message from Anubis. Actually, a message I was not expecting, to be quite honest. But it was the message that was needed and necessary for this transmission of light. Thank you. Thank you, Anubis. Isis and Ra are following suit to support the message by providing the frequencies, the spoken light of this expression of unity. Just as we have experienced the monadic union of Mary and Michael, so too Ra and Isis step forward in divine unity and expression to provide the balance within the masculine and feminine. And for those of you that are grid workers, light workers, star seeds that are fulfilling your highest purpose, you are going to find more. There are many layers to these messages, and there are many layers to the spoken light. There are those that are receiving this message publicly that are just receiving. There's not really anything below that. There's no intention. There's just receiving. And that is beautiful. That is exactly as it needs to be. And then there are other layers to that where there is an intention placed in the receivership of receiving specific messages, receiving specific attunements, receiving specific insight. So for those of you that know what I'm talking about, I would like for you to, and if you don't, that's okay. You can set the intention to receive a greater form of clarity. You can set the intention to receive a message. So I want you to step into the next part of this transmission, and I want you to definitely receive the words, but I want you to feel. I want you to feel the vibration of light, and I want you to hear from within your soul what is being expressed through the message. Not just the words that I say. There's so much more to it than that. So open yourself up in recognizing that the words come from divine source light. They go beyond ego. They go beyond the mind. When you are tuning in and tapping into that, you are receiving a message of higher light. And there is a message in here for each of you. There is something each of you is needing right now. That's what I'm hearing. Whether it's a key coming from the codes, whether it's an activation of the codes, whether it's an attunement, whether it's a clearing, balancing, whatever it is, you're receiving whatever it is that you were intending, but also what you felt you were needing. So go ahead and place your intention in your heart space. And I'm going to call upon the mighty fire dragons and the emerald golden dragons to create a circle, spherical circle, to uphold each of these intentions. And they are going to be very present with each of you so that you can feel the fulfillment. You can experience the fulfillment of these intentions. And I am holding space for the collective that is receiving, honoring that there are those receiving that feel challenged and triggered by the receivership of something different, something new, and their first reaction and response is to attack. I hold space for that. I honor that. I allow it, although I do not accept it. Allowing transmutation of these energies to take place so that we may intentionally construct and weave a new dynamic of energy. And I would like all of my light workers, all of my star seeds to join with me. I'm seeing now why the earth guides, why the planet guides were very present, and why the intention was to do this publicly. Is so there's many energies that tune into this that want to cast judgment, that want to place judgment. And in order for us to transmute this in real time, we need to receive it in real time. So I want you to see each of my beautiful star seeds, light workers, join with me in a circle of light. And I want you to feel yourself tapping into your God source frequency, your highest embodied frequency of sovereignty. And feel yourself connecting with the dragons. They're very playful. And go ahead and move your body, breaking that energy up once again, moving, spreading your wings. And here comes the receivership of the message. And as we receive this message, I would like you to feel your energetic body opening, expanding, Nashkuya satayurni shatayurni aquariakia satayashona. Let us join in light and let us weave a web of transmutation. Let us alchemize the energies that come forward in what they think is humorous, but it is actually coming from a place of wounding. When they attempt to be funny, we want to recognize that this is not a true embodiment of joy. This is an embodiment of judgment. It is an embodiment of I'm hearing hate. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of separation. So let us join with the Mother of Water, the Mother of Dragons, the Mother of Spiders, to weave a web of cosmic starlight, which will catch all of these wounds. I am Isis. I am Ra. We are one. We speak as one voice. We come to you now in celebration, in witness of your journey, in witness of your light. And we follow our brother Anubis in support of the message, in recognition that there is a collective that is very lost, and we embrace them in light. It would be going against the natural state, the natural law of creation, to disturb or intervene on a choice of a collective that is not desiring our assistance. Thus, we come through channels such as this. We work as one voice with those who express from a state of purity, consciousness, and pure light, as many of you are aware, because many of you have joined with us and expressed with us as you are now. We are one. We are one. There is no separation. We would ask our beautiful light workers, our brethren, those of you joining in this weaving a transmutation, transmuting dirt into gold, because that is how we see it. Transmitting organic material, organic words, the densities that lack the ability to see the light, into the frequencies that are upheld in the highest vibration and frequency of sovereignty within source light. And as you are doing this, we would ask each of you to call upon your 5D etheric tools, to call them forward, and to use your tools, to use your technology, to begin to interweave a story of light, the new story of creation for this realm. Begin singing it, begin declaring it, begin weaving it, for all universes throughout space and time are receiving your song. They are receiving your vibration of truth. They are receiving your light. And we are also working in the fields of all of those operating not only in acceptance and receivership, but operating from the frequency of sovereignty. We are bringing forth a most needed and necessary attunement of masculine and feminine. We are now going to go a bit deeper in this transmission, and we are going to merge with those of you who are open to receiving this. So if you are open to receiving this merge and this activation while we are speaking this truth of light, please state, I accept, I receive. We are calling forth the higher selves of all of those that are receiving from their highest frequency of sovereignty. We are dropping deeper into the energetic realms. We are connecting with all of those that are able to receive. Calling forth a web of diamond light. I am Ra, and we speak as one voice. Here and now is proclaimed the declaration, the solar induction, the activation, and the acclamation of higher divine masculine. Within the solar induction, there is the lead of the higher feminine, the higher divine feminine within the white diamond crystalline source God creation energy. We calibrate the collective energies now. Kero shande pakuturu inay ay karo shatay no maru iya. For those of you that are students of Isis, students of Ra, there are those of you that are brethren to Ra, brethren to Isis. There are those of you that have trained with Ra, trained with Isis. Call forth now this reclamation and remembrance. And activating the remembrance within the masculine. We are complete, and so it is. I am Isis, and we speak as one voice. I will now bring forth the song of light and the calibration of the collective feminine. much for allowing. I felt a major, it's still opening. Take a moment, take a deep breath. There is a major opening happening, and it's going to happen in wave after wave after wave after wave after wave for a minute. Allow it to move through your body. Allow yourself to move, stretch, open up. I'm feeling kind of like Jello. Thank you to Ra, thank you to Isis, thank you to Anubis for bringing forth that message, that attunement, that calibration, and that clearing. There was a beautiful purpose always, a necessity to offer this in a public setting. I would love to hear in the comments how everyone is feeling and how everyone was experiencing that. And I want to, of course, give gratitude to each of those Ascended Master Teachers that stepped forward, that provided that. As I knew, there's been many comments I've had to hide, I've had to delete, many users I've had to ban from the channel, but this was necessary. This was necessary. It was needed. Because those that step forward have this misconception, this belief, and it is so ingrained in their DNA. And they don't even choose to, they have not yet reached a point of allowing there to be anything other than. And so their ability to receive, of course, is hindered by their ability to believe something other than these limitations. They hear the words Isis, Ra, Anubis, and they think that somehow that means that it's not connected to source. Just like Jesus, even though he does not go by Jesus, although Yeshua was as well as Mary, as well as Mother Mary, all Ascended Master Teachers. We have many. And this is also why they step forward, because they've been deified. They have been worshipped, and they do not desire to be worshipped. They desire to share in their frequency of source light, just like you are a specific frequency of source light. We are all a part of source. And there was a need to clear a lot of this energy. And if you notice, we didn't move deep into the heart. You're very welcome, Becca. Because this was offered on a very public scale. But there's a lot clearing. I can feel it from my lower tailbone outwards. There's a major clearing happening on a planetary collective scale right now. Yes. So thank you. I would love for those of you that joined with me, that joined as starseeds and light workers, that joined in the weaving, and I feel another wave moving through. I would love for you to drop in the comments how that was for you, and I'm going to be closing out the circle, but I would love for you to drop into the comments what you experienced, because your ability to trust your experience and your ability to openly express is opening your throat chakra, and your ability to allow that from a place of belief and honoring is a necessity to continuously activating your throat chakra. So please drop into the chat. If there are any light workers and starseeds still here, what you experienced. I would love to hear that before we close out. Happy birthday. Garushuki anai uru inako isi aturushiki anai uru inai inai shukui asiki aku ai aku nuru iki asa ai nurushiki anai 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 anai. Closing out the circle. And 1 second. I have to get rid of another person. There we go. That's beautiful, Greg. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Becca. There was, I don't know if you picked up on this, but there was quite literally, like, there's so much clearing in the root chakra. Like, there's so much in the root chakra right now. Yeah, throat clearing, throat opening, throat activating. So through the throat opening and activating, we are clearing the lower dantian. So I'm feeling, I love that, Becca. That's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you. So grateful to have had you guys join in, and for, I know there's going to be those joining in the replay, and I felt so many energies present joining with us. Today was definitely focused on a collective understanding and a collective invitation to move through this and to allow, like, I can tell you right now, the amount of energy that is releasing, the amount of timelines that are releasing, is intense. And very interesting, before I joined this, I wanted to share this. And I wanted to also share the importance of releasing ourselves from circles that are not aligned. There was a group of beautiful sisters I've told you guys about, that I was a part of. And I shared a lot in that circle. Most notably with the leader, the one that created the circle. And I dropped in there the title of my books, and I created the book covers and all of this, like the books I thought I was gonna put out. And I've shared this with the world as well. I mean, I've shared it with the lot, obviously, the exponential soul. And I realized in this circle that I was being siphoned, that those in this circle were siphoning from me. They were taking. There was another sister that works in conjunction with this leader, and they work very closely together because they siphon off of each other's energy. And where they operate from is taking. And I realized as I went to, I thought I had unfriended everyone. I went to unfriend and just, again, clear another major cycle of time and space from my social media. I realized she had taken the title. She had used the title of what I had expressed my book to be, my set of books, and created a podcast around that. Now, I think most people would read that, like they would read the title of the podcast or something like that and be like, that's, how do you know? But those of you that know me know I know, because I see everything, and I'm able to see the reason and intention behind what anyone chooses. And as soon as I saw that, immediately I was shown, do you see why? Like, I was able to see why, because as soon as I disconnected from that space, there was the implication, there was the fake support, which was always there the entire time. There are circles of those on this journey that are not expressing from sovereignty. They have all the good titles, they carry all the good words, they have all the good certifications and presentations, and they make it look all pretty in a package, right? But they are not embodying sovereignty. I want to be clear about that. And not only was, and you know, Becca, because there was another sister, Giaya, that literally was trying to take my dragon codes, even though she couldn't figure out how to do it. So those of us that are carriers of purity, it's going to be very, very, very magnetic for others to want to receive from us. But you need to be careful, because when others want to receive from you, you need to check to see, why are they wanting to receive? Is it because I can tell you, I offered so much to these, so much for free. every single session, because it was an exchange of energy, and I was receiving healing from her, but I couldn't receive something from someone that could not meet me at my frequency of sovereignty. So there was not a balance of exchange. Therefore, everything I offered, I was always tired. I was like, literally, I was always moving through this, like, I was uncomfortable all the time. I had migraines all the time because it was such a dissonance from sovereignty. Yeah, it's but you know what? I want to also say I allowed it, right? I invited it in both times because I wanted to be so part of a group that I did not tune into that. I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be able to help, but my ability to want to help was coming from a place of wanting to be seen. And I knew it wasn't the right place for me. I knew that all along, right? The body tells it all. I'm saying this because when we feel this nudge or this response, this visceral response, we need to listen to that, you guys. Like, it doesn't matter that she's using that. That's not really the point. But the point is that takers are takers, and their ability to give comes from either true sovereignty or the presentation of sovereignty, which means it's packaged nice, it sounds nice, but it's not the real thing. So on this journey of ascension, especially when you're working with circles of those that provide healing, and I mean, like, her voice is beautiful. She's got some great modalities, but the presentation is what people are drawn to. Where she is offering from makes all the difference. And those that are on a path of fulfillment, that are drawn to the magnetism of 3D, exactly, Greg, I will listen more to my body. Boom. That's exactly what I stepped into, was no more denying. Everything that's coming to the surface now, the reason why I was shown that is these cycles of timelines that are closing out. I had this issue with my womb space during this time, and I'm sharing this with you guys because I know exactly. That is where most people are, Greg. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's where most people, even on the path of spirituality, the majority of those are in a box of business. So everything is in a mold, and everything is presentation, and everything is taught, not true, not rites of passage teachings, not what you receive by going through the fires of your own ascension, but thinking that because you have the title and because you have the modalities and because you have the process, that somehow that is a rite of passage, and it's not. You can have all the titles that you want and it means nothing. Your purpose is not a title, and it's not found in a modality of healing. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there for you right now. The activation of light is intelligent. It carries with it all that you need, all that is necessary. Within it, when you embody your highest frequency of sovereignty, all healing happens. All healing happens. All aspects of healing are already available to you. And by the way, I'm not negating what you guys gave me as feedback. I'm just being guided to share this really quickly, and then I'm going to respond to that. Your body knows how to heal, but your body can only heal from a place of remembrance. And that does not happen through some modality. That happens through your purposeful intention to remember your divinity, which is a state of frequency. It's an embodied experience. And there are those that work in embodiment that have a good they have a good knowing of that, but they're not attuned. So the way that they offer embodiment is still coming from a place of what they've been taught. So their attunement is based on wounding still. So I say this because a lot of times we are drawn to these people because of titles and because we want to help others. We help others by embodying those attunements, those high frequency, everything accessible to us happens through those attunements. Everything is frequency. Everything that you need and everything that you will receive happens through that. Absolutely. Because the divinity of you is encased within your human exponential. This was my book, right, by the way. Exponential. So your human exponentiality occurs, and it continues to occur. It's multiplied by what you embody. That's awesome, Becca. Thank you for that reflection. So what are you multiplying? Are you multiplying your little fake box of presentation? Are you multiplying your ability to let go of identification and just be? Because am I a pure channel? Yes. Am I a mystic? Yes. Am I a shaman? Yes. But above all, I am sovereign. Sovereignty trumps all of that, because all of that is encased within sovereignty. The star mother, the dragon mother, the pure channel, the blue avian, it's all encased within sovereignty. Every bit of it. And the higher you go in attunement of sovereignty, the higher you are able to receive your own divinity. And so it's very alluring to see when you really want to feel better, to do better, to be better. There's this allure to want to reach out to those that have all the modalities, that have all the tools, and that have all the titles, because you think you need all of that from them, or from this one, and from 15 simultaneously. It was beautiful when I had a one-on-one session, and the one thing she was saying is, she was like, as she's transitioning from the corporate world into healing, holistic offering, she said, I've always, I went down the road of needing certifications, and I'm letting that go because I just don't feel like it's necessary. And I said, yes, it's not. You do not need a certification for your soul. Oh my goodness. Hello, Miss Irene. I'm so glad you're here. And please don't be sad. I allowed it, right? I allowed it. I don't know why it's retracting messages. Hang on. I don't know why it did that. I don't know why it's retracting the messages. I'm sorry. I did get to see it though, Irene. I think it's because I've had to get rid of a lot of people in this one. Exactly. Your connection to divinity comes from within, and a lot of times when we're on this path, we become so encompassed. Oh, the message was to the comment. Okay, well, I got to see it, which was awesome. Our ability to find ourselves comes with our ability to be with ourselves. So if you're consistently wanting someone else to save you and fix you and heal you, then you're not sitting with all that can fix you, save you, and heal you, which is you. And those of us that show up on your path, that open the gateway and that offer the activations, we are not healing you, you're healing yourself. Oh, so grateful you're here, my dear. I'm so grateful to have your energy. Thank you. I love you so much. And we become, we've been so used to operating from this space of wounding that we become afraid to tune into ourselves. And by the way, Becca and Greg, I want to celebrate your experience. I love what you reflected, Greg, about experiencing it on a deeper level from a place of higher or nomadic space, where there was a recognition that we were we were already, everything had already been set up, everything had already been vibrationally prepared for us to receive it on a deeper level. We just needed that awareness that that's exactly where we were, right? I think that was all that was needed, was that invitation of, hey, this is multi-layered, this is multi-tiered, and you're receiving from whichever one you're tuned into. So I think I love that. I think that's amazing. the recognition of being a student, always. We're all students and we are all teachers. Now, whether or not you choose to step into that and offer that is up to you. But there is a lot moving right now, and even as I'm saying this, there's a lot clearing. Like, my inner channel is opening as I reflect your truths back to you. I'm a student, and I learn from you just as you learn from me. So our ability to share in our experiences is hopefully an opportunity and an invitation for you to see where maybe this has been playing out in your own environment, in your own choices, in your own experiences. And I hope it's allowing you to choose differently, because it's not about fitting in. It's not about the tools. It's not about the modalities. It's about the activations. It's about the attunements, and it's about the sovereignty. So if you're going to be a part of a circle, I really would invite you to be a part of a circle that is offering those aspects. Because if they're just, even the somatic body work, even all of that, that is all a tool. But a tool to what? It's going to teach you, of course, how to tune into your body. But if you are not in an attunement to transcend the cycles that your body is presenting to you, then you're just cycling. And I think that's the biggest message that's coming through, is because it's encased around the word embody. The word embody is transitioning. So even how others offer in this state of healing that is based within embodiment, it's taking on a new definition. And I know there are those out there that are already offering from a place of like activated embodiment, which is beautiful. But I want everyone to realize that you don't need permission and you don't need a certification. The only one that can show you the way is you. The rest of us are just guides. We're like signposts that's assisting and directing. Like if you're going south and you need to go north, we're gonna open up and say, hey, you might want to rethink that. But because there is always free will at play, the only person at the end of the day that can save you is you. Sovereign free will. Not even those that come in and assist us as ascended masters, they don't intervene. They are here when we request their assistance because of free will. Not even source intervenes because of free will. So, you guys, right now, there's a lot of timelines coming up. I can feel it. I can feel the collective reverberation. And I can feel it in my body. My back has just been, whew. My back and my crown. And right now, it's interesting as I'm saying this. Thank you, Greg. I love you, brother. Thank you. What I'm feeling is, as I'm saying this, it's almost, I can feel myself being lifted up. I want you guys to tune into that for a minute. I can feel the reconstruction happening at the base. But simultaneously, we have wings. And I can feel myself lifting up as a reminder that even with what is happening in the reconstruction, even with what is happening in the tower moment, we can still fly above it. We don't have to be consumed from within it. And I think that is a beautiful message in closing this out, is your perception is your experience. So when everything is being brought up, when there's turmoil, when there's discomfort, when there's pain, when there's fear, that's a point of perception within the turmoil. You can shift that wings. And I want to say this because I feel the need, I'm being shown that I'm going to need to provide some deeper clarity. When I say to spread your wings, I want you to recognize that just because you hear those words, I don't want you to connect to it like, oh, well, if I say I'm spreading my wings, then I'm spreading my wings and that's all I need. Because you're just on the surface. What does that phrase mean when I say spreading your wings and rising above it? Go deeper, go deeper, go deeper. It's not just an expression and it's not just a figure of speech. It is literal and it has many layers of literal to it. And as I'm saying this, I'm feeling an expansion of energy. And just so everyone is aware, something they're asking me to speak into, the prior months we were moving through a lot of masculine reconstruction. Now we're back in the feminine. Now we're back in that mother-sister aspect. And we're flowing between the two. They're working as one, but we're going to be more aware of one over the other. This is why we've been called to do a lot of work with Sister Terra, Mother Gaia, and Mother of Dragons, Star Mothers, all the mothers. The reason why they've been coming forward is because we're back in that mother-sister energy. And another reconstruction is underway with the masculine supporting. Then it will shift again and go into the masculine with the feminine leading and supporting. So I want you to be aware of that. And I want you to be aware that the timelines that are coming up are connected into this mother-sister wound and are connected into all imprints that are able to be released in conjunction with that mother-sister wound and how that is connecting you to the planet through your bloodlines. So the things that come up might not seem like it's connected to your bloodline. It might not seem like that, but it is, because every choice you make is based in that wound. It's based on the need to fulfill that wound, not fulfill the light, but to fulfill the wound. So I want you to keep that in heart. I see this very much right now in my own reality. You guys know with Bruiser, he has moved through a lot of fear and he's doing so beautifully. But today, that fear has been more potent and he's not wanting to come outside, not even to go for a ride. He wants to, but then he won't cross the threshold. The threshold to me is very significant, like walking out the door, because it means committing to that choice. And as soon as I say that, gunshots begin, which is going to enhance that fear. So it's the threshold, the doorway, for him, it has so many significance, so many points of significance, because it means I have a choice, but I need to commit to it. And if I commit to it, what's on the other side of that is fear, is scary for me. And I say that because that imagery is very potent for many of you. If you have it, there's choices before each of you right now. Some very prominent choices. And in the actual solidification of that choice, you're going to have to let go of what's been comfortable to you through fear. And so that's why this has been coming up. So yes, and then you have to think about, well, what does that mean, right? What does that mean? So when you walk through the door and you close it behind you and you don't look back, hang on one second. What does that mean? But what does that mean? What does not leaving it ajar mean? I mean, look outside of the imagery, my dear. You're on the surface. I want you to go deeper. What does that mean? Feel into it for a minute. Don't just jump into a response. What does it mean to you? Because this is very significant. Especially with what you're facing right now. If you walk through that door and you close it, What does that mean for you specifically? Not just in the act. Boom, commitment. There you go. There you go. I wanted to get below the imagery. Beautiful. Commitment. So if you are committed to something, that means that there is a whole other level of support that's going to come in for you, which means the support that you had is not going to, it's not aligned. So that's got to go. You don't look back. You just look forward, or actually look right in front of you. You don't look forward. You look right in front of you. If you look too far forward, you'll forget to look in front of you. You'll trip over your own feet. So you remain committed to your choice and you uphold that choice. There is a choice before each of you right now. This is another major shift point. That's why all this is coming to the surface. And I want you guys to see what that is. Many of you actually already know what that is. And the question now that I'm hearing is, are you prepared to let everything go? That goes with that, letting go. Because you got to let it go. And sometimes when we're receiving all of these things, all of these activations and all these integrations, sometimes there comes a point where we have all of this stuff that comes up right in front of our face, kind of get inundated with the 3D, because we forget balance. We forget that we need to honor what's in motion in the 3D, honor what's in motion in the 5D, find the balance in between the two, and continuously rise within that spiral staircase of ascension, letting go of whatever we don't need in the 3D, transitioning that energy into 5D, and continuing on the upward spiral. Because energy is energy. It doesn't go anywhere. I mean, it doesn't die. It transitions. So if you're not willing to let go of choices that are anchored in the 3D, then you're not able to transition fully into 5D. You're just going to stay there. So thank you guys. Thank you for receiving. Thank you for receiving all of the messages, all of the activations, and everything that came through today. I sometimes in these transmissions, when I come forward with these messages and I'm not doing as much activation or as much of what I would say would be called normal channeling, although I'm a pure channel, I always channel. You ask me a question, when I respond, it's coming from my channel. It's coming from a higher state of consciousness, always. So I have to learn, that's a part of my learning too, is that it's always going to be exactly what is intended. And I am so grateful that you guys have chosen to receive it. Yes, absolutely, Greg. Release to receive. That has been the theme for this last year, moving into this year. Release to receive. Release to receive. Because that energy will transition. It will meet you. And in order for us to discover what that is and what that means, we have to be willing to discover what that is and what that means. You know, a lot of times when it comes to really quickly on relationships, that need, especially if you're so used to having someone in your environment, if you're so used to having someone around, and then all of a sudden you're called to not do that, not have that, because this part of your journey was intended to be done in the way that it is being done solo, that does not mean that there will not be an opportunity for you to reincorporate a relationship. But if the only way you know how to incorporate a relationship is coming from programming and old coding and attachment and fear, then why would you want to incorporate a relationship while you are moving through your own ascension? You are meant to learn and receive and acknowledge and activate the divine union within, so that when you receive the divine union without, it is the divine union and it is not the imprint. Okay, so you are guided to do this, not because you're missing out on anything, not because you're always going to be alone. You're never alone. If you feel lonely, it's because you're in your own company, and in your own company, you view that as bad company. That's in your perception. That means you separate yourself from yourself. You see yourself as not being worthy of your own attention. And so then that's something you definitely need to work through before you ever incorporate another soul into your field. So all of these things are very purposeful and necessary. And the way that you are guided to choose and fulfill those choices is happening by divine orchestrated design. So the more that you resist that, the more that you are resisting your own divine plan. And you've done that for other lifetimes, so let's not do it in this lifetime, okay? let's just go ahead and change that up a little bit. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your presence. And you have family. You're never alone. Especially those of you guys in my group space. This is your family. This is your friends, your family. We are a group. We are a relationship. We are a pod of souls that are choosing to uphold ourselves within that frequency of sovereignty. That is the new community of New Earth. So all that you need is here, because every one of us in this soul pod is you reflecting you back to you. And I love you guys so very much. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I very much look forward to seeing you guys in the next live. For those of you guys in my group space, what is today? Thursday. Let's see, I've got a session on Saturday. So I do feel that probably Sunday, maybe Saturday, I'll have another live coming through for my group space. So I love you guys. Until then, ride the waves. There's going to be a lot of movement. Ride the waves. Don't attach to the old beliefs. Incorporate new beliefs. You've got it. And I'm here to support you, so just reach out. Please don't stay silent in the background. I can't help you if you don't speak up, okay? I love you. I will see you guys next time. Until then, Adonai. Okay, hoo-hoo, I'm all done.